Hi, Brian. A couple of things. Do you know if you're going to play starters next Saturday against Atlanta into the third quarter, sort of like a third preseason game in past years? And also want to ask you about four guys who practiced Thursday but didn't play yesterday, just to see if health was an issue at all. Your two starting corners, obviously X and Byron Jones, Agba and Alan Hearns. Those four guys, two starting corners, Agba, Hearns, were they held out yesterday for health reasons or some other reasons? Thanks.
Uh, X X Byron Agba. They were out with. I'm sorry. We just wanted to rest those guys. Hearns is dealing with something, so he's kind of rehabbing and taking things one day at a time. So that was for those four guys you mentioned.
Perfect. And then for the second preseason game this year with only three preseason games, could this be your regular season dress rehearsal? What's your thinking at this point with that game?
We got Atlanta coming in. We got the players today reviewing the game film. We'll kind of talk about next week's preseason game in a few days. We're a little ways away from that, Barry. So, and we got 2 good days of practice with Atlanta. That's kind of where the focus is. Based on how that goes, we'll kind of make a determination on what we'll do from a game standpoint.
Thanks.
Joe?
Good afternoon, Flo. I hope you can hear me. After reviewing the film, how did you feel Austin Jackson did, and what do you think he needs to do to live up to his best?
I thought he did some good things. I thought he competed well. Playing against a good front, some good players over there. I thought he competed well. I thought he did some good things in the run game, did some good thing in pass protection. I thought he did a lot of good things. Obviously, there were some instances where his techniques and fundamentals weren't as good, and we're making those corrections right now. But I was pleased with how he played.
I saw Tua. I didn't notice this while I was watching the game, but on the replay, I noticed that he kind of stuck his shoulder in to try to make a tackle. What does that say about him? And are you okay with that?
Tua, you said?
Yeah, after the interception, I don't know if I noticed that he got involved in making the tackle.
Yeah, I think that's what he's got to do. You make a mistake, which he did. You just move on to the next play. And in that instance, offensive players become defensive players. I thought Miles made a very nice tackle on that, which kind of set us up in decent field position defensively, which turned into a stop and then good field possession for us on the next offensive series. So, we talked to our guys about if there's a turnover, we just got to move on. If we sit there and we're not going to sit there and be upset about it. We got to move on and try to get the defensive player on the ground and play the next play, which Tua and really the entire offense did that. Everybody was running after the ball carrier.
If you can't find the raise hand function, click reactions and then click raise hand. We're going to try to go back to David. David, you there? Still not getting any sound from you, David. Let's go to Safin.
What's going on, Flo? How you doing?
Good, Safin.
Wanted to ask you, the second drive that ended inside the 5. When you have opportunities like that in the short area, especially after a chunk play, what can cashing in on those opportunities do for your players and for your team?
Obviously, anytime you're in the high red, low red, in that red area, cashing in and with a touchdown is what you want, what you're looking for, and in order to do that, you got to have good execution, which we didn't have down there. I thought it was good for us to learn from that. I think guys understand. We just met about it. Understand how important those opportunities are, and how important our execution is when we get into the scoring range. So, again, another learning opportunity for our team. It's good to get down there. It was a good throw and catch by Tua and Mike on a third down. So that's a positive, but I think we got to cash in.
And just from, I guess a confidence, morale, wanting to see your offense improve as a whole. When those opportunities do come for you guys to cash in, what do you think that'll do for your players mentally?
I mean, I thought they were in a good place mentally yesterday. I think, you go down, you make a big play, we don't get in. Obviously there's a little bit of, man, we got to punch that in. But our guys do a good job of moving on to the next play. They're not sitting on the sideline sulking. The defense went out there, got to stop, got the guys the ball back, and we just keep playing one play at a time. And that's kind of the mentality. And you're really going about it any other way, and putting yourself on, we want to stay even. And I thought that's what we did yesterday. And hopefully we'll continue to do that.
Appreciate it, Flo. Thank you.
Hi, Brian. I'm hoping you can hear me. It's rather noisy here. I wanted to ask you a little bit more about that sequence that Safed was just referring to. How did the offensive line perform in that sequence? I know on that second run, I think it was a safety who shot the gap, and I'm not sure if the line was responsible for picking him up or what's supposed to happen, but in general, how did the line perform in that goal line situation?
Oh, I mean, we had we had a missed assignment. Wasn't, on the offensive line, which is where we, had someone unblocked. And if you have someone unblocked down in that area, you need to get a hat on a hat, which we didn't have. So we talked about that already this morning. We got to have, good execution down there. All 11 defenders are down there. There's going to be an extra guy. There's going to be an unblocked guy. There's 10 offensive players as a quarterback. So there is going to be an unblocked player. And we either got to combo and, try to get that player down or, leave somebody unblocked away from it. And we didn't execute. So is that, I think you had another question, Hal?
No, that was it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Alan?
Hi, Brian. I wanted to ask you about Ethan Carter, and he left the field with a knee injury. Are we looking at anything long-term, or is this another one of those day-to-day, day-at-a-time deal?
Yeah, I think this is, we'll take this day to day with Ethan still. I haven't talked to Kyle about the, where we're at on that one, but, the early reports are day to day.
Thank you.
Joe?
Flo, when I asked Tua after the game about who was communicating to him, he mentioned Charlie Fry. Can you tell us how many folks were involved in calling the actual plays for the offense? And is that something that is going to, waver throughout the preseason, or is the system that is being implemented in the preseason going to be the system that is utilized in the regular season?
I mean, we've talked about this. We got a system in place. We know, how we're handling that situation. I thought it went well yesterday. And we'll just continue to handle it, the way we've talked about handling it internally. I thought it went well yesterday, and we'll continue to go the way we plan to do it. Really since George and Eric became the co-OCs.
All right. So just to be clear, you do not want to reveal if 1, 2, or 3 people are calling the plays on game day?
No, I don't want to reveal. It could be 6 people, Joe.
No, I just wanted to be clear. Thank you.
Barry?
Hi, Brian. Wanted to ask you about Dieter and Eichenberg. With Dieter, we've seen him open with the first group, all 12 practices and yesterday's game. How has he done in practice and yesterday? And then with Liam, I know obviously May and June in the first 3 days of camp, we saw him at right tackle. The 8 practices after that, we saw him at left guard. When he returns from being nicked up, have you and Lem determined where he will be, left guard again or back to right tackle?
Yeah, Liam's, day to day, working his way to, get back out there. Saw him at left guard, seen him at right tackle, and I think Solomon did a nice job yesterday. So I think that's a good competition there, left guard with Liam. But like we said, we're going to play the best five. They're all got some versatility. Liam obviously has some versatility, having played tackle and guard, and we'll play the best five guys. So, I think the most important thing for us is to get him back, get him back out there, and wherever he plays, and he'll have an opportunity to compete.
And Mike at center.
The reps.
Yeah, and then Michael Dieter at center, Brian, just how he's done through camp and yesterday.
I think he's done a nice job. Good communication, good fundamentals, good techniques, and again, had some tough matchups this week against Chicago in practice and in the game. Thought he handled himself well.
Thank you.
All right, last question. Since David's had some trouble here on audio, he texted his question and he wants to know, what did you take from a week of joint practices and the preseason opener as you go into joint practices with Atlanta?
We had, good competition in practice. It's good to see a different group, different schemes, different concepts. I think the Bears were very welcoming to us and I'm very appreciative of that. But, they got good players. I think that was good for us to see that in the practice setting and then compete against them in the game. I think it'll only help us.